Good evening. I'm going to talk about today's trades. The first one is McDonald's. Gap down on earnings. Right before the bell opened, it popped. And I grabbed puts right at the bell. And you can see right here, 931, 200 puts, 70 cents. And you can see it was right there, the 3-minute candle, 3-minute candle. So this big green candle, I ended up chasing halfway up it to grab the puts, and I scalped it, and then it got to the 37 EMA and rejected off that. So I ended up grabbing it for another scalp again right around in here. I think I got it like around 50 cents or something, I don't remember. And I scalped it again because it was a descending triangle right here. Well, actually technically a symmetric triangle, so I took a chance and got it here and scalped it there. But I was not expecting it to keep going down and break below 200. So I mean, two fairly small scalps. So, but from my call, 70 cents to $1.75, that was a 100% runner. There were some people in the room that actually held it down to 200, and so they actually made the 100% and did better than I did. So it was good to see that. And that's how we played McDonald's. We got it right at open. And the next one is we'll talk about UPS. I got burned on UPS, even though I'm still holding it. I got UPS right down here at I'll have to look and see what got it at 60 cents at 9.44. So that was right about, oh yeah, I got it right here, thinking it was going to drop again right over here, and it didn't. Then normally I was going to get out right in this area right here, but I didn't, because the reason I didn't, I'm probably going to regret it, but this is why I didn't get out. Oh, that's a 4-hour. Let's look at the daily. This is why I didn't get out. The head and shoulders, the left shoulder, the head, then the right shoulder, and if it gets down, if it gets below this 112, I mean, it's going to fill this gap. So I held it for that main purpose, to deal with the daily, and I probably will regret that. I'm in small, and that was my second trade. So basically I play with McDonald's profits. So even if I lose the trade, I'm not going to lose any money because it's profit money. So we'll see what happens the next couple days, see if the head and shoulders plays out. If it doesn't, whatever, I don't care. The next trade was Facebook, and this happened to be a really, really good trade. Well, what happened was, before, I was looking at it on the hourly because it was up on my scanner, and I noticed on the hourly, head and shoulders, the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. And I was thinking, okay, if this gets below 189, 189.50, this thing is going to drop. So I was like, okay, I'm looking at it from the head and shoulders perspective on the hourly, and that's how I played it. So I ended up calling Facebook at 10.57, 185 puts. So at 10.57, the stock was right here, right underneath 200 EMA. This is where I got in, right there, thinking, okay, it's a descending triangle, it's going to break, and it did a little bit, and I got in. Well, and this, what was it, the 58 cents? So we got it right here. Well, literally, you can see, after we got in, these are each candle is 3 minutes. 6 minutes later, Facebook drops news about antitrust issues or something, and so they got hit with really, really bad news. So those puts we got for 58 cents ended up going 650%. So that was just insane how far it went from the news. I mean, it was perfectly timed. I couldn't have timed that any better. That reminded me of Boeing on Friday, that we got on Boeing puts, and then a few minutes later, after we got on Boeing puts, Boeing just took a nosedive. So when this happened, the same thing with Facebook. It was timed so perfect that it just ended up being a 650% winner, and a lot of people in the room made a lot of money off Facebook. So that's really good to see, and good to hear, and glad a lot of people banked on that. And I'm still in obviously UPS, but I called Hone at the end of the day, and the reason I called home at the end of the day is because I was looking at the hourly. I was looking at that every time. I'll keep it right here. This is the hourly. Every time that it gets to these levels into the 169 area, it dumps really hard. Right here, look at that. One day it goes from 169 to 164. I mean, it dropped $5. And when home gets rejected, it dumps really hard. See right here, it gets rejected up here, and it takes a nosedive. And up here, it gets rejected nosedive. So I was like, okay, if this gets under 169.20, which is the previous low of the other green hourly candle, that this thing could go down to 168.50, and this thing could take a really sharp nosedive. And that's why I was playing it. I mean, I understand it's a possible cup and handle right here, but I mean, even if it does work out, I mean, there's not much that, I don't think there's really much upside. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can go to, yeah, I could jump to 172, and there's a lot of resistance in the 173.50 range. So even if I was to chase the 170 breakout, there's only $2 to 350 upside to it, versus if it does reject, it's gonna drop $5, $6, $7, $8. I mean, the risk reward is a lot better on the way down than way up, because worst case scenario is it goes up to 172 and then rejects hard and drops down. So I think that this could reject, and if it does reject the way I think it's gonna fall, and it's gonna fall hard. So that is the overnight play on home that we have going. We'll have to see how what happens the next day or two and see how it plays out. But that's why I took home. That's my thinking behind it and why I chose to pick it. UPS, who knows what's going to happen with that? That could end up being a dumb decision. I should have gotten out of UPS in the 114 range, but the head and shoulders on the daily got my attention. So I was like, okay, let's see what happens. I mean, whatever. But UPS and home are still holding right now, and we'll see how that all works out. But my confidence in UPS is kind of like not much confidence, but home, I really like it. If it gets really under 168.50, I think it's got some airspeed to drop, and that's what I'm hoping to see. So that is the recap for today, and if you're not in the room, it's free to join. The link is in the description, so please feel free to come join the room. Thanks.